I'm so sick of all the standard lighting in Garry's mod. I wish there was a mod that added realistic cascading effects. I mean, just look at this pathetic excuse of a shadow. I wish it actually had detail. Now, who could that be? Odessa! Is that real CSM modern lighting? You shouldn't have. Now get out of here. Turn your Garry's mod from this to this. This is real CSM modern lighting. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at exactly what this can do to your Garry's mod. How's it going, guys? Today's video is going to be all about lighting. So you might think, well, Garry's mod does a decent job at lighting already. I don't really need a lighting mod, and that's totally fair. But check out some of these shadows over here. So you can see there's some good definition, but if we remove real CSM, it becomes a shadow of its former self. Get it? Because the shadow? Alright, moving on. But this is so much more than just a shadow mod. For instance, see in here how all these are nicely defined? If we remove it, they're all kind of blocky and hard to really make out. Now, of course, soft shadows can be realistic in the proper setting, and I can't tell you for sure if this would be realistic or not, but something about the harsher, sharper shadows just looks so much better to me. But this is the best thing about this mod, and that is that you can customize almost any parameter. Let's go ahead and talk about the shadows real quick. First things first, we have resolution. This is going to make your shadows, well, if it's 0, not exist. But it will make your shadows look good if you actually make this more than 0, which we definitely will. I recommend setting this to the highest point, and then once you do that, you can then mess with the softness, or technically the shadow filter. So if we make it a little soft, we can see, there we go, we got some softness there. Now, it doesn't look really all that good in my opinion, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a fan of that weird fuzzy look that it has. But if that's more your thing, you could definitely mess with that. I mean, it's completely messing up this building right here. So let's go ahead and raise it all the way up, and we can see that looks absolutely terrible. So we're going to set that back to 0. I'll stick with the sharp shadows. Now, this does a lot for the background as well. In fact, you can even see we're having a few glitches with that, but you can work that out in the settings. So let's go ahead and delete it and see just how much of a change we've made already. Wow, pretty significant. But we have only hit the tip of the iceberg. Let's go ahead and go into here real quick. One of the things that's really important that you can change is, of course, the cascading size. We have middle, and we have near, and of course, last but not least, far. Now, messing with these can truly change how the lighting looks. This is pretty damn bright if you ask me, and if you want to go ahead and reset, thankfully, you can just respawn it in, and it'll be at default settings. So, we're going to go back. We're not going to mess with that too much. You can adjust the sun's brightness though, which is a feature that I personally am a big fan of. I'm so sick of playing in a very depressing, droopy Garry's mod game, and now I can have a beautiful bright sun. And I mean, look at these shadows. These shadows are sharp AF. Now, something that's always kind of come to my attention with these kind of lighting mods is how well does it affect props? Because a lot of these realistic mods do kind of rely on the fact that it has to look good with the surrounding props, and we can see all these shadows. So I have a question. What do you guys think will happen when we get rid of real CSM? All the shadows go away. Except for, of course, the ones underneath, and obviously this one because it's, well, it's leaning. But let's go ahead and bring CSM back real quick and see just how much better it looks. Already, we have angled shadows that would be very realistic for this type of setting, especially where the sun is. So let's go ahead and edit this even more because we, once again, have only just begun. There's so many things we can adjust. Next thing we got is really important. We have the offset, and this is going to let you adjust where the sun is in relation to the sky. So we can see that if we move it, the shadows move as well, and we have pitch, yaw, and roll. So let's go ahead and do like this. If we want, like, oh, I don't know, let's say the sun's over there, even though it's not, but we're gonna ignore that. We can see that now the shadows are cascading towards the left here. Even this one. And once again, I gotta say, it looks awesome. It does completely change the tone of the map you're on. So let's go ahead and actually fly up for this so we get a good look. In fact, we're gonna look at these buildings here because these are gonna be the things mostly affected by this mod. I mean, look at that. That's pretty insane that you can do that. You can create shadows where there were never shadows before. And like I said, it just changes the tone of how the map can look. Let's go ahead and move, say, yeah, right there. There we go. That's actually a nice time of day. Now, I was playing with this mod for about 20 minutes, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it looks pretty good, but it could look better. At least I thought that until I deleted. And then I realized, oh wow, that looks so damn flat. But I think this mod's gonna be more important on maps that do actually have a lot of things on them. So we're gonna go over to Big City and see how it looks. Alright, so I chose Big City for a few reasons. One, it has a lot of buildings, so it should make a lot of beautiful shadows. Two, there's a problem with some maps with this mod. And that is, of course, this. This map has no light underscore environments. The CSM will not look nearly as good as it could. Some of the maps don't have that, well, apparent module installed on the map. And that pretty much means it's not going to work as well with CSM, but I find that it doesn't really matter because we can make this look pretty damn smacking good. I mean, already it looks great, but we can go even further than that. So right off the bat, without changing anything, we can see a lot more shadows, and it, you know, does change the vibe of the map. I mean, it's so much more vibrant and bright. And if we go ahead and get rid of the mod, I mean, look at that. It's so dim and depressing. Honestly, after putting this on, maybe some people aren't gonna like the oversaturated brightness, but I really dig it. Now, of course, just like on Construct, we can go crazy with this, and it's even more fun to mess with the offsets. I mean, look at that. We can completely change the apparent time of day. Let's go ahead and bring this up. If we kind of want to give like an overcast look where the light's really shooting over there, I don't think that's realistic at all, but who knows. Or we could bring it back just a little bit and have some shadows, but not all of them coming forward. Let's actually go ahead and do some of that, and then we'll make this kind of tilt that way. Alright, and there we go. So yeah, you can really go crazy with this. Some of these shadows just look absolutely beautiful when there wasn't any shadows before. And once again, if we go ahead and actually just delete this, we can just see how flat the map looks now. Now, of course, there's a lot more to mess with. Like, for instance, this is really fun. You could change the color of the sun so we can make it look like very vibrant red. Yeah, it looks like doomsday is about to hit any moment. And then, of course, you can adjust like the maximum altitude. I gotta be honest with you guys, I have no freaking clue what this does. I messed with it for a good while and I couldn't find anything. But we also have the Cascade Size, which I think I did mention earlier. But let's really mess with this now, because this can completely change the feel of the map. You want to be careful though, because it can also completely butcher the way your map looks. I mean, look at that, that's way too vibrant. But, I mean, hey, if that's your thing, you can go with it. And naturally, you can make the sun blindingly bright. Oh yeah, that's fun to look at. Alright, so I gotta admit, this looks really pretty. Let's go ahead and spawn in some props and see how the shadows look. Now, of course, by props, I mean dupes, because why not? We don't ever get to look at dupes. We can see it does create its own unique shadow. Alright, let's go even more crazy. Screw it. We got a freaking Titan. Oh yeah, that's gonna make a nice shadow. And a nice slideshow for my YouTube audience. Here we go, a simple crane. Alright, so now we get a good look. I mean, look at these beautiful shadows. I don't know, it looks pretty freaking awesome to me. Now, all this beautiful brightness, all these awesome shadows that you can fully customize, what would it look like if we got rid of this thing right now? I'm gonna try to get it in view so that we can see all the shadows in its glory. And here we go. That's what it looks like. This is normal Garry's mod. It's so weird because playing on this with CSM for like 2 minutes makes me think, oh, it's always looked this good. Then I delete it and I'm like, this is regular Garry's mod? But there you guys have it. That was the CSM mod. Fully customizable with a bunch of really cool options, and you could pretty much make any map look the way you want, depending on the time of day or the amount of shadows you want. Pretty much the sky is the limit, because that's what you're adjusting, is the sky pretty much. Leave a like, subscribe, links are down below, and until next time guys, thanks for watching and farewell.